After Cao Xiu suffered a devastating defeat against Lu Sun at Shiting, the Wei army lost huge amounts of weapons, supplies, and horses. Humiliated and furious, Cao Xiu fell seriously ill after returning to Luoyang and soon died from an infected sore on his back. Emperor Cao Rui ordered a grand funeral for him. Sima Yi immediately withdrew his own troops afterward. Other generals questioned him, asking why he was retreating so quickly when Cao Xiu's defeat had little to do with him. Sima Yi replied, "Once Zhuge Liang learns Wei has suffered a major defeat, he will certainly take the chance to attack Chang'an. If Longxi falls into danger, who will save it? That is why I hurried back." Many generals secretly mocked him for being overly cautious. Meanwhile, Eastern Wu sent envoys to Shu, proposing another joint attack against Wei. They proudly mentioned Lu Sun's victory over Cao Xiu, both to show off Wu's military strength and to strengthen the alliance between Wu and Shu. Lu Shan was overjoyed and quickly informed Zhuge Liang and Hanzhong. At this time, Zhuge Liang already had strong armies, abundant supplies, and all preparations ready for another northern expedition. Hearing of Wei's recent defeat convinced him the opportunity had finally arrived. He held a grand banquet and summoned the generals to discuss the campaign. During the feast, a strange wind suddenly blew from the northeast and snapped a huge pine tree in the courtyard. Everyone was shocked. Zhuge Liang immediately performed a divination and said grimly, "This omen means we are about to lose a great general." Many were doubtful. Not long after, Zhao Yun's sons, Zhao Tong and Zhao Guang, arrived asking to see the prime minister. The moment Zhuge Liang heard this, he smashed his wine cup onto the floor and cried out, "Zilong is gone." The two brothers entered, knelt down in tears, and reported that Zhao Yun had passed away during the night. Zhuge Liang burst into tears and lamented, "With Zilong gone, the nation has lost one of its pillars. It is like losing one of my own arms." All the generals present were deeply moved. Zhuge Liang ordered Zhao Tong and Zhao Guang to return to Chengdu and report the death to Lu Shan. When Lu Shan heard the news, he also wept bitterly. "If Zilong had not protected me back then, I would have died amid the chaos long ago." He posthumously honored Zhao Yun as Grand General and granted him the title, Marquis Shenping. Zhao Yun was buried with great honor east of Jinping Mountain in Chengdu, and a shrine was built for seasonal sacrifices. Later generations praised him in poetry. From Changshan came a tiger-like warrior. His wisdom and courage rivaled Guan Yu and Zhang Fei. His achievements at the Han River were legendary, and Changban made his name famous throughout the land. Twice he risked his life to save the young lord, devoting his entire life to repaying the former emperor's kindness. His loyalty and righteousness are forever recorded in history, and his name will live on for ages. Because Lu Shan deeply appreciated Zhao Yun's lifelong service, the funeral was held with the highest honors. Zhao Tong was appointed Tiger Guard General, while Zhao Guang became a gate commandant. The two brothers were ordered to guard their father's tomb. At this moment, court officials reported that Zhuge Liang had already prepared the army and was ready to launch another campaign against Wei. Lu Shan consulted the ministers at court. Many officials believed it was not the right time for war, making Lu Shan hesitate. Then Yang Yi arrived with Zhuge Liang's memorial, the famous later memorial on the northern expedition. Lu Shan immediately opened and read it. In the memorial, Zhuge Liang explained that Liu Bei had always believed Shu and Wei could never coexist peacefully. Liu Bei entrusted him with the responsibility of restoring the Han dynasty. Zhuge Liang admitted that Shu was weaker than Wei and that his own abilities were limited, but he argued that if Shu remained passive, destruction was inevitable. Rather than waiting for death, it was better to fight proactively. He recalled how he had campaigned deep into the southern wilderness years earlier, because he refused to let Shu remain trapped in one corner of the land. Now Wei was exhausted in the west and distracted by eastern Wu in the east. Zhuge Liang believed this was the perfect opportunity to strike. He then listed 6 matters that troubled him deeply. First, even Liu Bang and brilliant strategists like Zhang Liang and Qin Ping had endured countless hardships before founding the Han dynasty. Since Shu was far weaker than early Han, how could victory possibly come easily? Second, leaders like Liu Yao and Wang Lang only talked without taking action, eventually losing everything to Sun Quan. If Shu also refused to act, it would simply wait for destruction. Third, even Cao Cao nearly failed many times before unifying the north. Since Zhuge Liang believed himself inferior to Cao Cao, how could success come without risk? Fourth, Cao Cao himself often misjudged people. Zhuge Liang admitted he could never guarantee flawless judgment either. Fifth, Shu had already lost many experienced officers and elite soldiers since establishing itself in Hanzhong. Delaying further would only weaken Shu beyond recovery. Sixth, although the people and army were exhausted, stopping the northern expeditions would merely delay inevitable destruction. It was better to act while strength still remained. Finally, Zhuge Liang reflected on Liu Bei's difficult life journey. After Liu Bei's defeat at Changban, Cao Cao believed the realm was already his. Yet Liu Bei later allied with Wu, conquered Shu, and once again challenged the north, briefly restoring hope for the Han dynasty. But then Eastern Wu betrayed the alliance, Guan Yu was defeated, Liu Bei suffered disaster at Yiling, and Cao Pai proclaimed himself emperor. The political landscape constantly changed without warning. Zhuge Liang concluded by declaring, "I shall devote myself completely until the day I die. As for whether success or failure awaits, that is beyond my ability to foresee." After reading the memorial, Liu Shan was deeply moved and officially approved the Second Northern Expedition. Once the order arrived, Zhuge Liang immediately led an army of 300,000 northward. Wei Yan was appointed vanguard and marched directly toward the Chencang route. The news quickly reached Luoyang. After hearing Sima Yi's report, the Wei court gathered to discuss strategy. Grand General Cao Yun volunteered to personally oppose Zhuge Liang. He strongly recommended a fierce warrior named Wang Shuang. Cao Yun described Wang Shuang as a giant of incredible strength who wielded a massive blade, rode swift horses, fired powerful bows, and carried 3 meteor hammers that never missed. Emperor Qiao Rui summoned him at once. Wang Shuang stood over 9 feet tall, broad and intimidating, with tremendous physical presence. Qiao Rui was delighted. With such a warrior, what do we have to fear? He rewarded Wang Shuang with golden armor and appointed him vanguard general. Cao Yun then mobilized 150,000 troops together with Guo Huai and Zhang He to defend various fronts. When the Shu vanguard arrived at Chencang, scouts informed Zhuge Liang that Hao Zhao had already fortified the city heavily. The scouts advised bypassing Chencang and taking the Taibai mountain route toward Qishan instead. But Zhuge Liang insisted Chencang was strategically essential and must be captured. Wei Yan launched repeated assaults, but none succeeded. After several failures, Zhuge Liang grew furious and nearly executed Wei Yan. At that moment, Yin Xiang stepped forward and volunteered to persuade Hao Zhao to surrender, claiming they were old acquaintances. Zhuge Liang agreed. Inside the city, Yin Xiang tried to convince Hao Zhao peacefully, but Hao Zhao angrily rejected him, cursing Zhuge Liang as an enemy of Wei and swearing loyalty unto death. On the second attempt, Yin Xiang even spoke of destiny and righteousness. Hao Zhao became even more furious and raised his bow to threaten him into silence. Yin Xiang returned unsuccessful. Enraged, Zhuge Liang ordered a full-scale assault. He first built massive siege ladders. Hao Zhao countered with fire arrows, burning them all and inflicting heavy casualties on Shu troops. Zhuge Liang next deployed battering rams. Hao Zhao crushed them using giant stones and iron chains. Zhuge Liang then ordered tunnels dug beneath the city walls, and the moat filled in. Hao Zhao responded by digging defensive trenches inside the city. For over 20 days the battle continued day and night, but Zhuge Liang still could not break through Chencang. Then Wei reinforcements finally arrived. Leading them was the fierce general Wang Shuang. Zhuge Liang sent Xiong to meet Wang Shuang in battle. Xiong was killed within 3 exchanges. Gong Qi attacked next and also died in only 3 rounds. Shu morale dropped sharply. Later, Zhang Enai, Wang Ping, and Liao Hua attacked together. Zhang Enai fought Wang Shuang evenly for a time. Wang Shuang deliberately pretended to retreat, luring Zhang Enai into pursuit. Wang Ping shouted desperately, "Do not chase him." But it was too late. Wang Shuang suddenly turned and hurled a meteor hammer directly into Zhang Ni's back. Zhang Enai coughed blood and fell badly wounded. Wang Ping and Liao Hua barely managed to rescue him. Wang Shuang then charged through the battlefield, causing devastating losses among Shu forces. After returning to camp, Zhang Enai reported, "Wang Shuang is unbelievably powerful, and the Wei defenses around Chencang are extremely strong." Seeing the mounting casualties, Zhuge Liang reconsidered the strategy. Jiang Wei advised, "Chencang is too difficult to capture. We should leave forces behind to contain it, and instead move through Xie Valley toward Qishan." Zhuge Liang agreed and changed the route of advance. Meanwhile, Zhao still resented Sima Yi for previously receiving greater credit. This time he was determined to win glory personally. Suddenly, his soldiers captured a suspicious messenger claiming to carry a secret letter from Jiang Wei. Zhao opened the letter and read. Jiang Wei claimed he still longed to return to Wei and had only surrendered to Shu by force. He wrote that Zhuge Liang trusted him completely and suggested a plan. If Zhao pretended to retreat, Jiang Wei would burn Shu supplies from within and help Wei capture Zhuge Liang in a coordinated attack. Zhao was overjoyed and believed heaven itself had delivered this opportunity. However, Fei Yao warned him. Both Zhuge Liang and Jiang Wei are extremely cunning. This may be a trap. But Zhao refused to listen. Eventually, Fei Yao volunteered to lead 50,000 soldiers ahead and coordinate with Jiang Wei. As Fei Yao advanced, he repeatedly encountered Shu troops. Yet each time, the Shu forces retreated after brief contact. Fei Yao pursued them continuously for an entire day and night without rest. Finally, when the exhausted Wei army stopped to cook and recover, battle cries suddenly erupted from all directions. Shu troops charged out from the mountains and wilderness. At the center appeared Zhuge Liang himself seated calmly in his 4-wheeled carriage. Fei Yao secretly laughed, believing Jiang Wei was about to ignite the Shu supply lines. He had even instructed his men earlier. If we see fire behind us, we immediately counterattack from the rear. But the entire situation had been Zhuge Liang's trap. At a wave of Zhuge Liang's feather fan, Ma Dai and Zhang Enai launched a fierce assault. The Wei army began collapsing. Soon afterward, flames truly appeared behind them. Fei Yao thought Jiang Wei had succeeded and prepared to strike back. Suddenly, Guanxing and Zhang Bao emerged from both flanks with large armies. Arrows rained down from the mountains. The Wei army descended into total chaos. Only then did Fei Yao realize he had been deceived. He desperately fled toward the valleys while Shu forces pursued relentlessly. Wei soldiers trampled one another in panic, suffering catastrophic losses. Finally, Fei Yao encountered Jiang Wei himself. Furious, Fei Yao cursed him. "You traitor! You have no honor at all." Jiang Wei laughed and replied, "I intended to trick Qiao Zhen. Unfortunately, only you were fooled." With no escape left, Fei Yao committed suicide with his sword. The remaining Wei troops surrendered. Zhuge Liang successfully advanced into Qishan and heavily rewarded Jiang Wei. Jiang Wei sighed regretfully. "It is unfortunate we could not capture Qiao Zhen personally." Zhuge Liang also lamented that such a grand strategy had only eliminated Fei Yao. When Qiao Zhen learned of the total destruction of Fei Yao's army, he was filled with regret and began considering retreat. Sun Li and Xampai urgently sent reports to Luoyang stating that Shu forces had once again occupied Qishan, and that Qiao Zhen's army was in serious danger. Emperor Qiao Rui was alarmed and immediately summoned Sima Yi. He asked, "Qiao Zhen has failed, and Zhuge Liang now advances through Qishan. Do you have a strategy to repel him?" Sima Yi answered confidently, "I already possess a method to force Zhuge Liang into retreat. We will not even need a massive battle. The Shu army will withdraw on its own." Thus, as Qiao Zhen stands helpless before defeat, Wei can now only rely upon Sima Yi's strategy. What method did Sima Yi use? The answer awaits the next chapter. Summary. This chapter mainly depicts the beginning of Zhuge Liang's second northern expedition. Wei had just suffered a devastating defeat at Shiding, while Eastern Wu sought to strengthen its alliance with Shu and jointly attack Wei. Zhuge Liang judged the timing ideal and officially launched another northern campaign. Militarily, the Battle of Chencang demonstrated how Zhao's extraordinary defensive ability. Even though Zhuge Liang employed siege ladders, battering rams, underground tunnels, and multiple siege tactics, he still failed to capture the relatively small fortress city. The Wei general Wang Shuang was also portrayed as an extremely powerful warrior, killing several Shu generals and severely damaging Shu morale. However, Zhuge Liang and Jiang Wei later worked together on a false surrender scheme that successfully deceived Qiao Zhen and Fei Yao. The Wei forces walked directly into a carefully prepared ambush and suffered catastrophic defeat. This chapter also marks the true beginning of the long-term rivalry between Zhuge Liang and Sima Yi. After Qiao Zhen repeatedly failed, Wei finally prepared to send out Zhuge Liang's real strategic rival. Knowledge points. 1. The later memorial on the northern expedition was probably not actually written by Zhuge Liang. Most historians believe the authentic memorial is the earlier Chu Shi Biao, written before the first northern expedition. The so-called later memorial is widely suspected to be a later forgery. Reasons include major differences in writing style, wording that does not resemble official Shu documents, and several historical inconsistencies in viewpoint and timeline. 2. The scale of the Battle of Chencang was heavily exaggerated in the novel. The novel describes Zhuge Liang leading 300,000 soldiers and besieging Chencang for over 20 days. Historically, Shu forces were likely far smaller, probably only numbering in the tens of thousands. 3. Wang Shuang was dramatically enhanced into a super general. Historically, Wang Shuang was indeed a real Wei officer who participated in campaigns against Shu. However, historical records about him are extremely limited. In actual history, Wang Shuang was later killed by Wei Yan. 4. Fei Yao's death does not match historical records. In the novel, Fei Yao falls into Zhuge Liang's trap, suffers defeat, and commits suicide in shame. Historically, Fei Yao did not die during this campaign, and continued appearing in later records.